So here in our addToCart method, we have only 5 lines of code. But in the last lecture, I told you that I'm not happy with this implementation. You can make it better. And that's what I'm going to show you in this lecture. The first thing I want to improve here is line 32, where we're going to Firebase to get a shopping cart item. If you look at the rest of this service, we have a couple of small and reusable methods that abstract working with Firebase. We have the create method for creating a new shopping cart and getCart. So the problem I see in this implementation is the lack of symmetry. So here in the first line, we're delegating the task of getting or creating a cart to this method. So this method is abstracting away or encapsulating the details of working with Firebase. But on the second line, we're dealing directly with Firebase, and we're busy figuring out the right location for this node. This is not the responsibility of addToCart method. This method should be responsible only for adding a product to a shopping cart or increasing its quantity. So the calculation of the right path to this node is not the responsibility of addToCart method. So I want to extract this line and put it inside a separate method. So just like we have getCart, we're going to have getItem. So here we should have 2 parameters, cart ID, which is a string, and product ID, which is also a string. Now we can cut this line from here and move it here and simply return the result. Now we need to change this product.$key to product ID. So we have a simple reusable method for getting a reference to a shopping cart item in Firebase. Now, back in our addToCart method, I'm simply going to call this getItem and give it cart ID and product.$key. Look, now we have symmetry in our code. So this was one thing. Another thing I don't like here is these conditional statements, if, else. Now here we have only one if, one else. It's not a big deal. It's not bad at all. But I have seen a lot of developers love writing code that includes if, else, else if, for, else, switch case. This is not how a professional coder writes code. So I want to show you a technique here. I want to show you that sometimes by simply changing your perception about code, you can get rid of your if-else blocks. So in this case, in order to get rid of these if-else statements, I want to make these 2 lines exactly the same. If they're exactly the same, then we don't need if and else here. So how can we make these 2 lines exactly the same? Well, first, we can replace set with update, and this would work perfectly fine, right? Now, the other change I'm going to make here is storing the product here. So product is product. So if we do have an item, still we're going to store the product anyway. Does it matter? Not really. You might argue that this is going to incur performance overhead. And that's when I ask, why? How much? How much performance overhead are we going to experience here? Firebase is super fast. And updating this node in Firebase, it's not going to take even half a second. Plus, all of these are done asynchronously. So you're not blocking the user interface for this update to happen. That's why I don't see any problem with storing the product or updating the product in this case. So now these 2 lines, lines 38 and 39, are getting closer and closer. The only difference is in the calculation of quantity. So if we don't have this product in the shopping cart, we want to set the quantity to 1, otherwise we want to increment it by 1. Well, I can write this code like this, or I can write it like this, item.quantity. Now, if we don't have this item in the database, item.quantity is going to return not a number. So we can simply apply this or here, or 0. Now we can apply the same technique on line 38. So here we can add item.quantity or 0. But on this line, because we do have an item in our database, this part is not executed. So we get the actual item.quantity. Now we can see both our update statements are exactly the same. So we can simply get rid of if and else and update our item in one go. This code is cleaner and more elegant. Now let's test the application and make sure this refactoring actually works. So I'm going to go to our shopping cart, delete all these items, and now add a new item to our cart. So here's one. Let's look at Firebase. So we have this product with quantity 1. I'm going to add this item one more time. Click, back to Firebase, quantity is 2. Now let's add another item, the bread. And here's our second item with quantity 1. So this confirms that our refactoring is working.